Hello, I'm Mark Divens, fisheries biologist with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Today we're out here on Bonnie Lake in eastern Washington's channeled scablands, and we're going to talk about some techniques to catch black crappie, which are one of Washington's most popular warm water sport fish. One really nice thing about crappie fishing is it only takes a minimal amount of equipment and tackle, such as a light spinning rod, 4 or 6 pound test line, a crappie jig, and a bobber. So let's get over to our fishing spot and I'll show you how to fish this lure. One thing good to know about crappie is that they like structure, and so we've moved ourselves along the shoreline here and found this down tree, which provides nice structure with its trunk and branches. We're going to use our crappie jig, and right now I'm going to use a 32nd ounce crappie jig, and I've chosen a green and white. And our float. One thing nice about the float is it suspends your bait above the bottom and you can adjust it to the appropriate depth. So what I'm going to try to do here is cast out and then let this bobber sit and see if we have any fish that are interested in our lure here today. There you go, it's as easy as that. Here we are in just our second cast of the day and we've caught this gorgeous crappie. Really nice fish, about 12 inches long. Very nice. Yeah, today we're fishing with this 32nd ounce crappie jig. I've chosen a green and white pattern. One thing I like to do is to set your knot on the line here so when that bait is fishing in the water, it's horizontal to the water line as opposed to straight up and down. That gives it a more natural presentation, like a small fish swimming in the water, which these fish are foraging for. There's one. Another nice sized crappie, about 9 inches. Today I think we're going to go for those larger fish and try to catch some fish over 9 inches, 10, 12 inches would be nice. So we're going to let this go and let it grow a little bigger for next time. There's one. Looks like they like that green and white jig today. Yeah, fishing for these crappie with these small crappie jigs, it's nice to have a pair of needle nose pliers or a Leatherman to easily get that jig out of their mouth. Just push back on it and that'll free it right up. Here's one. What do we have here? Another nice little crappie. One thing I'm trying here is to cast beyond the log and then I can slowly reel it back towards it and bring that jig right up underneath there where those crappie seem to be hiding. Looks like something's trying to tap that. There's a lot of different kinds of floats. One thing that's nice about this pencil float is it'll lay horizontal on the water until you get a bite. A lot of times these crappie will bite very lightly. There we have something. All right, looks like we have a bigger one here. Ah, this is a nice fish. All right. Now this is what we're after. All right, now what we have here is a 12 or 13 inch crappie. This is truly a prize for Washington State. A very nice fish. There's another one. Another nice little Bonnie Lake crappie. Well, we've been fishing here in this one spot this afternoon on this one single piece of structure, this fallen log. We've caught about a dozen fish, but things have slowed down just a little bit. Maybe we'll move down the lake and find another similar spot and try that for a while. Yeah, here's another laydown log down the lake here. We're going to try this spot. Yeah, as we come up to this log, try to be quiet, and I've set the anchor so we're off a ways to start here, and we'll cast towards the log and see if we can pick up some fish. Yeah, as we fish this new piece of structure, it's a trick to fish in and around the branches of this tree that's fallen down. So thinking that those fish are going to be holding pretty tight to that structure, sometimes it's a good idea to cast beyond it and then reel until you know that jig is just beyond that log and it's dropping down right beside it. And hopefully you'll get a fish before you get snagged on a branch. There's one. All right, looks like we found some more. Oh, and a nice fish too. We better get the net. Oh my. Look at that. All right, what a beautiful fish. Second cast on this second log, and we caught this fish that's, man, close to 14 or 15 inches. What a beautiful Eastern Washington crappie. Look at that, another 11-incher. There's another one. We'll let the smaller one go. Grow up for a couple more years. Yeah, it's important to remember on these crappie that they have spines on both their dorsal and anal fin here. So when you're picking them up, it's good to bring those back so you don't get poked. That's why they call these spiny rays. A lot of the times in the evening, these crappie will move up out of deeper water and into these shallower areas around the vegetation where they're foraging for things like dragonfly larvae, other insects, or small bait fish. I'm still using our bobber and jig first here. One thing fishing this vegetation that's different than in around the log that we were earlier is that it's less likely to get snagged on that log trying to wait for those fish to bite. So a lot of times it's good to do a little bit of reeling after you cast out and put a little movement into the action of your jig. There's something. Yep, another crappie. Another crappie off our weed bed. It's not as big as the largest ones we've seen today, but another nice fish. There we go. Feels like a little bigger fish. Oh yeah. Ah. No wonder he feels a little different. All right. Another one of our Washington panfish species. This is a yellow perch, a large one. We're looking at about 10 inches. A good size. Probably average size for yellow perch in Washington is about 8 or 9 inches. This is a nice fish. These are also very good eating. There we go. See what we have here. Oh, smaller crappie. Let him grow back up. Yeah, you don't really need any special equipment like a depth finder to find these spots. Just looking for cover, and I'm just moving along until I see that weed line. Here we go. A little crappie. Yeah, when we find crappie that are actively foraging in these weed beds, there's another technique I'd like to show you today. What I have here is a little beetle spin. It's similar to a larger spinnerbait that you're used to seeing for largemouth bass. What it is a small jig with a little spinner above it. As you cast this out and move it through the water, it gets that little swimming action. And if those crappie are real interested in biting, you can just cast that out and just reel it back to the boat. See if you get a bite. There he is. Oh yeah. Fun. Oh, this is a different one here. Oh, we got another one of these perch. All right. Very good. Oh, I see why he feels a little bigger. Another fish, largemouth bass. So our fourth warm water fish of the day. All great fun on just some simple gear. Oh, there he is. That looks like a crappie. It's taking our beetle spin. Oh yeah. He's a nice fish. Just another way to catch him. Well, we've had a lot of fun this afternoon catching black crappie here on the lake. Caught over 25 or 30 fish in a few hours, including these two dandies. Hopefully you learned a few techniques that are pretty simple and easy to get out and enjoy this great fishery. Remember that Bonnie Lake is only one lake across the state of over 140 that have populations of these great warm water fish. If you go onto the WDFW website and click on Fish Washington, you can search for one of these lakes where you can enjoy this great opportunity.